All right, hello everyone. Welcome to the 1883 Speaker Series. My name is Mike Wozniak, and I'm the Coordinator of Leadership and Programming in the Student Involvement and Parent Programs Office. Each week we invite a campus or community leader to talk about how today's student can develop their leadership skills, as well as other advice regarding personal and professional development. We hope you learn some valuable lessons in the next 18 minutes and 83 seconds. For today's speaker, please join me in welcoming the head coach of the UND men's hockey program, Coach Bradbury.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Can you hear me up there? Yes. Good. Well, I want to thank you for letting me be part of your life today. UND is a big part of my life. I'm going to talk a little bit about leadership and how we try to develop culture at UND hockey here. And a lot of people know who I am as far as being around here. I was here as a student back in 1983, a long time ago. I was an 18-year-old freshman coming in from small town Alberta, and I was grateful for the opportunity to come to North Dakota on a scholarship to play hockey here. Didn't know that I'd be here this long, but at the end of the day, I love every minute, and that's why I'm still here. Was grateful enough to play under a lot of great coaches here that I'm going to talk about, and a little bit about culture and leadership, and to learn from them and try to pass it on to what we have currently right now. I'm going to show a couple of videos real quickly here, and then I'm going to talk about leadership and culture. But I think these two videos are going to get right at kind of what we talk about on a daily basis at UND hockey here. The first video is from the Vancouver Canucks locker room, and it's not one of our alumni, but there's a couple alumni in the locker room that are on that team. A guy by the name of Kevin Bieksa, that was a former player that came back and talked to the Vancouver Canucks about passing on culture and tradition, so that the younger guys can keep that going, so it perpetuates. Big deal. And then the second one is me talking, and it's not about me. If anybody knows anything about me, I put everybody else in front of me, and that's what it should be about. I get to be part of a team going forward, a successful team, and it's about the team first attitude. And so when I'm talking up there, it's when we bring our freshmen back in the summers. We bring our freshmen for the first time on campus to get integrated with our underclassmen and our upperclassmen before we start the season. We're fortunate enough to bring all of our team in the summer to train together. Our strength coach gets to be in the weight room with them for 5 weeks, and that's where they really bond and they integrate with each other to start the season. So again, that was my first speech to the guys, talking to them before the season starts. So I'll show these videos, and then I'll be back up here.
I played 10 years here, and then Bo came, and I'm like, I'm out of here. But no, first of all, I'm not going to take too much of your time. Like, we got work to do here. Big game tonight. I play with Kinger, actually. Same draft class, right? We're the same age, believe it or not. Doesn't he look way older, though? But I won't take too much of your time. Thanks for letting my son Cole and I come here and just be a small part of your night here. When I played, guys, I don't know what you're like, but I was like tunnel vision, like full steam ahead. Next game, next season, I was always thinking about what's coming up, what am I preparing for? And I never actually sat back and enjoyed some of the times and the experiences and the accomplishments. And then you get older and you stop playing, COVID happens. Now it's like 4 or 5 years since I've played, and you start to kind of look back and reminisce, and you're like, it was best time of my career was being a Vancouver Canuck and being in this dressing room. And I'm walking in here with Cole. And Cole grew up here. Cole and the Sedin's kids, they grew up on the floors when they were young kids. And we have so many good memories in this room. The finals, obviously, right? But winning game 7 against Chicago, and the President's trophies, won back-to-back President's trophies. A lot of great memories in here, but a lot of tough memories here too, right? A lot of tough losses, a lot of, missed the playoffs twice in my career. And all those tough things, they make you stronger, and they make you really enjoy the good times. You have to go through them, you have to get stronger, and you have to endure them. And people always ask me, what are you the most proud of from your Canucks career? It wasn't the Cup finals, it wasn't scoring the biggest goal in franchise history. Just kidding. It was, but honestly, I joke around about that. It was honestly, the most proud thing I am is the culture that I helped build in this room for about 8 to 10 years. And I knew it was special because when we had guys come from other teams and we had Bo come up and everything, guys would tell us, this room is special. You guys have something good here. So how did we develop that? It wasn't just me and the twins and Luongo. It was probably I think it takes like 3 to 4 defensemen, 1 to 2 goalies, and 6 to 7 forwards of ultra competitive guys. Ultra competitive in your own right. Like, are you a net front guy? Well, you're the first guy on the ice tipping pucks every morning. Are you a shooter on the flank? Well, you're a guy who's on the ice every morning shooting 100 pucks before practice, right? Like, that's what the skill guys did. That's what the Kesslers, the Burrows, the Sedins, that's what they did. Are you an energy guy? You're in the gym. You have like your mandatory workouts, but you do more. You go above and beyond. So you're the best conditioned guy. You're the strongest guy. Your body's not breaking down from all the contact. You hone your craft. You take pride in what you do, and you work your doing it, and that's what makes everybody a better team. And then you keep each other accountable. If everybody's doing that, the goalies are on early, everyone's working at their profession, and you battle each other in practice, and that's why we were a great team for 8 to 10 years, and that's why we had a great culture. So I'm not saying there should be any fights out there this morning, but I'm just trying to give you a little bit. I'm not lecturing you either, obviously, right? You guys are in this league for a reason, but I'm just trying to let you understand the culture that we had that was so special for 8 to 10 years. It took a lot of different people that were ultra competitive.
One more thing, seniors, juniors, you know what I'm talking about. It's about our culture. We use that word strongly around here, culture, and it's something that just doesn't happen. Culture was built over a 70-year period here. So you freshmen, you sophomores, recognize that. We wish you could stay here forever, but those 4 years go by. Take advantage of it every single day. Make sure that when you come in here, you're giving it your all. You're working for yourself, you're working for your teammate. Keep building, keep doing the things that we do. And what is that? What's North Dakota hockey? What's North Dakota culture? It's a few things. It's being team first. It's being hardworking. It's being respectful. It's being passionate. It's being relentless. And it's doing all the little things on a daily basis on and off the ice to add to the tradition. So at the end of the day, when you leave here, add to the tradition. All right. So you saw a lot of words, catchphrases in there, and I think the buzzword culture gets used a lot. But when you say culture, we like to define it. We like to talk about it all the time. How do you build it? One thing about culture, it takes a long time to build it. It takes a long, long time to build it, and you got to keep working at it. But it takes a short amount of time to lose it. If you don't have an opportunity to talk about it on a daily basis, then you're losing momentum on building your culture, right? And it's about the people that come within your culture. You have to make sure you get the right people in your culture all the time. I'm blessed and fortunate enough to have an outstanding staff in front of me and with me here at North Dakota, and also the leaders in the locker room. And I'm going to talk about them in a little bit here. But without staff members, without players that have good leadership qualities, you don't have anything. And you got to make sure you keep building and growing it. So how do you do that? Communication is the biggest thing. Communication is ultra number one in building a culture. We're blessed and fortunate to be at the Ralph Engelstad Arena. Every one of us coaches has an individual office, a little cubicle office over there. But I'll tell you what, 90% of our time, myself, and my 3 other assistant coaches, we call it the war room. And we don't get into fights in there. Well, maybe sometimes we do, but we call it the war room. And you know what? We are in this room for about 90% of the time. When we go do our expenses or we have personal phone calls, we'll go into our offices, but we sit in this war room for a majority of our time. And the reason why is because we talk. It forces you to talk. You have talks about recruiting. You have talks about game plans, about players in your lineup on a daily basis that you're in amongst each other every single day. Communication is huge within our staff. Then it has to permeate through your group, your players, okay? So again, I don't like, it's not a physical touch, but at the end of the day, we call it touches. You have to have a touch with your players on a daily basis. And they don't have to be like, hey, come to my office. It's like coming to a principal's office. Sometimes you get threatened by that. It's one of those things where you maybe grab a player on the ice and you're skating around with them on the ice, or you're grabbing them in the lunchroom, or you're grabbing them in the lounge, wherever it is. You have a touch with them as far as, hey, how you doing? And it doesn't even have to be about hockey. It's about, situation where, hey, I heard your dad's going through a tough time with his health. Is there anything I can do for you? Like different things as far as getting to your players, whether it's hockey related or non-hockey related. Communication is a big thing. And why is that? Because there's two big words that we use at North Dakota Hockey: trust and care. If I'm talking to a player and he knows that I'm caring about his dad, there's ultimate trust there. I trust you, and he cares for me. So those are the two things that lead into communication, and that's the reason why you have to keep building it. Letting others do their job, right? Okay, I got a great staff here. Everybody's got kind of their own little world as far as what they work at. You got to let them work at it. Okay, obviously I'm the head coach. I have final say on a lot of different things, but you have to have trust that they're going to do their job, and you have to have open conversations about what's going on, and just having a situation where you just got to let them do their work and not being a micromanager at them. If you hired that person, you should know what they're all about, right? And at the end of the day, you got to let them do their job. It gives them a lot of gratification. It gives them a sense of responsibility. It gives them an opportunity to show what they have, and growth. It gives them an opportunity to grow in their positions as well. Being positive, being an encourager. I come home every day, and my wife always asks me, were you an encourager or were you positive today? And I'm going, what does that mean? Like, at the end of the day, like, I always talk about, and I'm always accountable to myself, and I know every one of our players are as well. But in this day and age, you have to be positive, and you have to be an encourager. And it doesn't mean you're soft, because you know what? We're really accountable as a group here. But in this day and age, you have to be positive, and you got to be an encourager. And I'll tell you what, I'll give you a story. Jackson Kuntz, he didn't have a lot of success early on. He was a highly touted draft pick coming in here, local guy, really good kid, awesome kid. Doesn't speak a whole lot, not really outgoing, but just a genuine human being, right? He got down on himself a little bit because there was high expectations. One of those things you always have to do is try to encourage these guys, right? They're caring, they want to work, they want to try to be the best that they can be. And I think at the end of the day, you have to try to empower these guys. You have to tell them you believe in him. You have to tell them that, hey, you got this. Keep working through this. And now he's having, on the tail end of his career, he's a junior now, he's having success. We do this little shootout at the end of practice on Thursdays all the time. And at the end of regulation, we go into 3-on-3 overtime. And if you don't get any goals scored for or against, then you go into a shootout. And we have to pick 3 shooters. So we usually do this thing on a Thursday where we try to find out who's our best shootout shooter. And I remember starting to talk to Jackson Kuntz here about 6-7 weeks ago. And, us coaches, we sit behind and said, who do you got? Who do you got? So we randomly pick a guy who we think is going to win a shootout. So I picked Jackson Kuntz one time. I said, you know what? I'm going to take Kuntzy. So before he even shot, I went up to him. I said, hey, Kuntzy, come here. All us coaches, we get to pick shooters. I'm picking you. I believe in you. I trust you. You got this. He goes in. He makes an unbelievable move. Boom. Wow. He wins shootout. So then the next week, I come up to him again before the shootout. I go, Kuntzy, you're my man. Let's go. Goes in again. Boom. Scores on the shootout. And he wins each round. He wins it again. So again, I think those are little things you got to teach your guys, or just show the care and the trust in all these guys that, hey, I believe in you, you can do this. And again, I'm not saying I'm the reason he's having a good career or having a good year this year, but I do think it's an opportunity for a coach in a coaching position to empower somebody through trust and care. So that's a big, big deal. When I came here to North Dakota, I told you guys I was an 18-year-old freshman coming in here, pretty green behind the ears, pretty wide-eyed. Immature in a lot of ways. Gino Gasparini, John Marks, Dean Blaze, Kerry Eads were my coaches. And talk about an intimidating coaching staff. Great guys. But I can remember Gino Gasparini, he brought the jersey in front. There's 9 of us freshmen from all over everywhere. 9 freshmen coming in here. And everybody, you got a little swagger to you. You're one of the better players on your junior teams coming in here, and everybody coming together, and I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this. Gino Gasparini said, hey, guys, come over here. Sit down in front of me right here. He brings the North Dakota, at that time it was the Fighting Sioux, brings the jersey up, and he goes, I'm going to teach you one thing today, and I want you to have it today, and I want you to have it the rest of your life. And I want you to, when you guys get to be juniors and seniors, I want you to pass it down to the guys that are the young guys in front of you. So he grabs the jersey, and he's got the name on the back, Barry, number 3. And he goes, you know what? This isn't important as what's on the front. He turns it around and there's a logo. He goes, that logo right there is more important than the name on the back. Very simple, very succinct, very direct. And it was like, all of us go, well, you know, you don't fully get that until the older guys start talking to you. And when Kevin Bieksa comes back and talks to the Vancouver Canucks about passing it on, that's what it is. So you talk about it all the time. You talk about how important the program is, how you check your ego at the door, how you come in there and you'll do whatever it takes for your teammate to have success. Team first attitude, that's a big, big deal. So we have a lot of things going on at North Dakota that are reminders of what that is. A long time ago, these coaches implemented the words we, us, and our. In this day and age, it's always about me or I. You won't hear that from us. So when we go on the ice in that tunnel, you know, we all line up, not we, our players all line up, coaches behind them, and they go out that tunnel and they hit the ice in front of you guys. There's 3 words that you're going to see. We, us, and our. Everything we do, every press conference that we do, we try to say that. Doesn't I get in there or me? Sometimes maybe, but the majority of the time it's we, us, and our. And we always talk about that all the time. The other thing is we want our guys' minds always moving. We want them always moving forward here. And when we come into the Ralph Ingolstadt Arena every single day, we come to a set of stairs. They come through a side entrance, and they come through a set of stairs that goes down one side, another side, back down the other side, coming down. And each wall has a sign on it. And the first one is, each battle is won or lost before it's fought. So again, instead of us coming down to the locker room and getting on the ice and then taking a chance that it takes you 2 or 3 drills to get into the game or a period to get in the game, we want to engage our guys right away. And they come down and right away they know how important each and every day is, because it's a chance to get better as an individual and it's a chance to get better as a group. And we always talk about that the battle is won or lost before it's fought, meaning that you have to make sure that you get after it on a daily basis. And then the next one that you come down, there's one that says plan, prepare, and execute. You have to have a plan, you have to prepare, and you have to execute, right? And then the next one is we get to. And everybody kind of goes like, what does that mean, we get to? Well, I'll tell you what. I wake up at about 5:30 every morning. I get to the Ralph at 6. It's dark out. I get to drive in front of the Ralph Ingolstadt Arena. I get to come over the overpass. I get to see what's going on campus with all these beautiful buildings here. You know what? I get to do this. I don't have to do it. I could do a lot of other things. I get to be a part of this. I get to do that. It's a grateful attitude, right? It's that humility of being one of 25 guys in a locker room, one of 4 coaches here, of being a part of a special program, a special family. We get to. And then the very last one, that we get down, and I love this one, attack the day. Everything that we do is attack mentality and attack the day, making sure that we're ready to go each and every day. So again, those are little things that get sprinkled into our culture before we even get on the ice in the mornings. Culture, 3 things as far as controlling. In life, you only have limited control of certain situations. There's a lot of things in life you can't control, but there's 3 things you can control. And I'm going to open it up to you. I've got 3 things here in my mind and in our minds at North Dakota Hockey where you can control. What are 3 things? Throw them out there.
Attitude.
I love it. First one, boom, attitude. I love it, Cassie. What? Effort, work ethic. We call it work ethic. That's 2. You guys have been cheating here. You've been looking at my notes. So we got attitude and work ethic. What's the 3rd one? Anybody? How about the choices you make? Choices. Attitude, work ethic, and choices. So you get up in the morning, you have a choice. Well, I'll get the choices, but you get up, you can either have a great attitude or you can have a not so great attitude. Having a great attitude is such an important thing, right? You get to start the day at 0. When the game starts at 0-0, you get to start the day at 0. Fresh slate, right? Even though you might have had a crappy day yesterday, you get to start it and make an impact at 0, right? How are you going to respond off of that? Is it going to be great? You're going to have a great day and be positive about it? Or are you going to get up out of bed and go, man, that was a tough day yesterday. I got to grind away today. And you know what? Everybody's got individual things going on in their lives. But having that positive attitude is a big thing. Because when I get up in the morning as a head coach and I go into that rink, and if I go on the ice and my shoulders are slouched and I'm giving it this one, guess what my players are doing? They're doing the same thing. Same thing. Positive attitude is a big thing, right? You have a choice to do that. Second thing, the work ethic. Yeah, work ethic. When we recruit at North Dakota, we look at a lot of skill players, right? At the end of the day, we want guys that, we call it hard skill. And hard might be like, okay, running a guy through the wall. No, that's not what we want. Yeah, we want an aggressive and competitive attitude and characteristics, but we want guys that kind of are hard in all areas, meaning that, you're the first one on the ice. You're the last one off the ice. You're a guy that, when people aren't watching you, you're doing the right thing. The work ethic is such a big thing for us. And, we get, during COVID, we had to rely on recruiting, on watching video a lot. We couldn't really go on the road or do a lot of different things because everything was pretty tightened up. But I'll tell you what, there's nothing better than a live evaluation on going out and watching a player, because you can watch all the video you want, but sometimes you can't watch a player giving it half, going off the ice, or a guy busting off the ice on a line change. Sometimes you can't see last minute a guy blocking a shot or a guy tapping a goalie on the pads after you let in a goal. The body language, the characteristics of players are a big, big thing, and the work ethic is as well. So that's another thing that you can control, that we love in our group here, that we got to make sure that we keep building on that. And then the last one I got is the choices. The choices you make each and every day are a big, big deal. And, my dad always used to say is, you have to make choices up by yourself, but I'll tell you one thing. If you have to think about it for 20 or 30 seconds on that choice, the longer you have to think about it, it's probably not a great choice, right? And it's so true. Like at the end of the day, you know what's right and you know what's wrong, right? And the longer you think about it, it's probably not a great choice. And that's a huge, huge deal. And, I got to knock on some wood here. This is my 9th year as head coach, and I was an assistant coach under Dean Blaze and Dave Haxtell. And as an assistant coach, you don't have the responsibility that you do as a head coach, meaning that, like that phone that I have over there, it's usually right here, and it's by my bed every single night. And, my first year or two, I'd go, man, this thing's going to be ringing off the phone or off the hook, because I worry about the choices our guys are going to make. But I'll tell you what, like being upfront, direct, talking about it every single day about the right thing to do, being a good person, and I'm going to get into academics here in a minute, it's a huge, huge deal. Like, you got to keep talking about it and being responsible. And again, I'm going to knock on wood again. I haven't got a phone call past 10 o'clock at night in the last 6 years. So that's a huge deal for me, right? We get caught up in North Dakota on hanging green and white banners. Expectations are high here. They're win or nothing else with us. But at the end of the day, that's what we love. That's what we love. But the other part for me is being a good person. And they come here, our players, our recruits come here to get a great education, a 4-year degree. They get a chance to win a national championship each and every year, have a good chance at that, and trying to get to the highest level of pro hockey that they can. So those are 3 things they can do when they come here. But my biggest thing that I want is having somebody that turns out to be an unbelievable person that gets to be a great father, husband in the community. That's a huge, huge deal of trying to form somebody in here. A lot of kids already have that going on, right? A lot of kids come in here with great parenting, morals, ethics, but what we do is we try to finish the product. We try to turn these kids from adolescents into grown men and make them have a great start in life once they leave North Dakota. And that's a huge, huge thing for us, and that's all about culture. Picking captains. Last thing I'm going to talk about here is picking captains. Us as coaches, we can have so much impact on the team when we get to the rink. Once those guys leave the rink, the leadership takes over. And I firmly believe, too, the leadership takes over in the second half of the year. Us as coaches, we form and develop our team in the first half of the season. The leaders take over in the second half of the part of the season by directing the team. And we have unbelievable leaders. Reese Gaber's our captain. We have 4 assistant captains around him. We have other guys that don't wear a letter that are in our leadership groups, our weekly leadership group meetings that we have every single week. And that's, remember I talk about communication, having those weekly meetings with our captains and our leadership group. That's a big thing, communicating with them, the talk going back and forth. But again, like I said, our captains are based on, and this came from way before me, and even in the Gino Gasparini days, that I could go ahead and pick these captains myself. But you know what? That would be a disservice to our group in the fact that I think I know these players inside and out. These players are around each other 24/7. They know each other. They know each other extremely well. So what we do is we let them vote their own captains. And they're going like, why would you do that? Well, again, for that point, they know each other. They know who the guys that have leadership qualities, that are the guys that are the guys that can drive the bus. And so what we do in the fall, just before we start our season, we let them vote. And Gino Gasparini used to say, the players have 49% of the vote, I have 51% of the vote. And, but you know what? Since I've been here 9 years, they've been dead on. Like from coaches, we talk about it, my assistant coaches and myself, it's been pretty much dead on as far as who we expect to be the captain and the assistant captains. And that's a good barometer of our players, kind of being on the same page of what that looks like. And I'm telling you what, leadership is a big thing from the player standpoint. Last thing I'm going to talk about here is the academic part of it. Huge deal, huge deal. I'm going to tell you a little story, and it was my second year, I think, coaching here. It's a huge part of our life. Like Anders Freeman, the athletic department and his staff do an amazing job as far as the support that they give to our guys academically, and it's a big part of our life here. We feel that when we recruit players, it's non-negotiable. You're coming and you're going to school, and you're going to get a great degree, and you're going to work at it, right? Because we find if you do well in the classroom and you push yourself in the classroom, you're automatically going to do it on the ice. You're absolutely going to do it on the ice. And we really push that side of it. Over the last 9 years, our team GPA started at a 302 team GPA. It's up to 355 now. 350 or 355, somewhere in there. And we're proud of it. We puff our chest out about that. In our lunchroom, every year we have those stats up there. And I'll tell you what, when we have recruits and parents come in, they look at that, and we're known for hockey and pro hockey players, NHL, but I'll tell you what, I'm just as proud, or if more proud, of the academic side of it, of showing that, hey, we have unbelievable programs here at North Dakota, and you know what? You're not only going to go in those programs, you're going to do well in those programs. Louis Jamernick, who's been between a junior and a senior for us right now, he came in halfway through a year, mid-semester, and a few years ago. He's our first aviation student to be a commercial pilot. Amazing. And when you talk about aviation and the time commitment that you have to have, not only on the ice, but in that vocation or in that program, it's amazing. So we have a lot of those guys in a lot of different majors that take a lot of time, and it's a big, big deal. And we encourage that, and we support that. Huge, huge deal. So in essence, I guess what I'm trying to tell you guys is, been here a long time, gonna stay here a long time, want to be a part of this family here at North Dakota for a long, long time. And one last story here. My wife, very supportive of me and what I do. I met her here my junior year. A guy by the name of Tarek Howard. Well, I got recruited to play here at North Dakota. Tarek Howard was another player in Alberta. He was 18 years old as well. I knew him from, I don't know, maybe 10, 12 years old, but I didn't like him very much. I like a lot of people, but I didn't like him very much because we played youth hockey against each other growing up. And, we would win, then they would win, we would win, they would win, go back and forth. Play junior against them. I get recruited to come to North Dakota. My mom and dad drive me off at that, it's not there anymore. I think the driveway, the Circle U of the Walsh Hall is still there. My mom and dad dropped me off there. Luggage, I go up to the second floor of Walsh Hall. I get into my dorm room, and who do I see? Tarek Howard. And so it didn't go well for the first couple of weeks, not talking a whole lot or whatever. But when you're in that little dorm room, you're forced to talk. Talk about communication. You're forced to talk to each other. And got to know him more. He's my best friend today, one of my best friends today in Grand Forks here. I met my wife my junior year, raised a family here. He met his wife here, raised his family here. And I'll tell you what, there's many a time we went over to Squires to eat, went back to the dorm, sit around and go, man, you know, this is an awesome place, only going to be here 3 or 4 years, you know, and never look back. I'm still here. He's still here. And I guess what I'm trying to tell you is it's a special place. I played pro hockey for 13 years. I've been around a lot of different places. I played over in Europe, been down to Dallas, Minnesota, Winnipeg, been a lot of places. This is my home. This is where it is. And I want to thank you guys. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Coach Barry, and thank you all for joining. My name's Christy Okerlund, and I have the pleasure of working with Mike Wozniak, who you met earlier today. Next week, we will not meet here as it is spring break, so we hope to see you on Wednesday, March 13th, as we join Dr. Joshua Wynn, Vice President for Health Affairs and Dean of the UND School of Medicine and Health Sciences. Thank you all. Have a great day.